I've received a lot of comments from my earlier video that I published last week about the other electric vehicle stocks. People keep asking me, and they wanted me to pick and choose out of the companies I presented which one I would choose as the standout. So let's go back and take a look. So in that other video, I talked about these other electric vehicle stocks: Blink Charging, Fuel Cell Energy, Plug Power, and ChargePoint in combination with Switchback. So out of those four, people asked me, hey, pick one of them. So now here's my choice. I'm picking ChargePoint that's teamed up with Switchback Energy Acquisition, stock symbol SBE. So for those of you that are unfamiliar with ChargePoint, they've actually been around for a long time, since 2007. So this is a 13-year-old company, well established, and it's privately held, so you're not going to see it trading on the stock market. But they are doing well. In fact, they have about just over 600 employees. So, that's a fairly large company. And what they do is they develop these charging stations and deploy them throughout not only North America, but Europe as well. Unfortunately, you can't buy shares of this company's stock until now. So, guess what's happening? ChargePoint is merging with Switchback Energy Acquisition Company, and they're going to form a single company. Now, Switchback, as it turns out, is a special purpose acquisition company, sometimes referred to as SPAC. You may have heard of them, or you may have heard of the term SPAC. And basically what they are, it's a company that's publicly traded, and they are looking for companies to acquire, right? So that's why they're an acquisition company. They're looking for companies to acquire that are privately held, and their goal is to bring them to market quickly. All right, so let's take a quick look at Switchback. They're commonly referred to as a blank check corporation or shell corporation. And what they do is they help the companies that they acquire get to market quicker. So just as a bit of a background, when a privately held company wants to go public, they go through something called an IPO, initial public offering. And what it requires is for that company to file a lot of paperwork and use a lot of lawyers to get this done. Well, Switchback is joining with ChargePoint. So Switchback, the acquisition company, already has the paperwork in place. They're going to join forces with ChargePoint, and what they're going to do then is, by virtue of Switchback acquiring ChargePoint, they're going to avoid all of the CPAs, the paperwork, the lawyers, all that expense that goes with creating an IPO. And just so you know, when a new company, a privately held company, decides to go public and they file this IPO, it could take anywhere from 9 months to 12 months to maybe 14 months for that company to actually go through the process, get the paperwork filed, get everything registered so that they can finally become a publicly traded company. But since ChargePoint is teaming with Switchback, which is already publicly traded, they can cut that time down to roughly 6 to 8 weeks. So think of that. ChargePoint, they made a decision to go public. If they did it the traditional way, it would have taken them upwards of a year, maybe a little bit longer. But now, since they've joined with Switchback, they're going to be able to do it in 6 to 8 weeks. Now, they've already filed the paperwork. There was an announcement that came out, I believe, in September of 2020, was to publicly announce their intention. They've actually filed the paperwork, I believe, in October, and sometime in December, so later this year, within the next month, we should see ChargePoint and Switchback officially merged and trading under the symbol SBE, which is owned by Switchback. So why would I look at ChargePoint? Why do I care? They're just a company that deploys charging infrastructure. They're not an actual car company. They're not a Tesla. They're not a NIO. And if you've seen my previous videos, you know that setting up that charging infrastructure is going to be a huge play in the electric vehicle market. Okay, so the reason I like ChargePoint, well, ChargePoint has the largest share of the open EV charging networks. This is outside of Tesla, of course. So within the open charging network space, right? So these are all the charging stations that are in North America, Europe, I believe some in Asia. ChargePoint owns and controls 73% of them. Now, if we add Tesla into the mix, I think the ChargePoint percentage goes down to roughly half, but they're still number one. They still beat out Tesla. But the point here being, they're the big dog in the fight, right? So they have all the equipment, all that infrastructure. They're getting set to blast off. And I really see this as taking off because, as the number of electric vehicles starts to increase and get more and more universal, right? Even me myself, now the next car I buy will be an EV. I'm not even looking at internal combustion engine cars anymore. So this is becoming more and more commonplace for families, individuals to own electric vehicles, and not only residential, privately held, but commercial as well. So as the number of electric vehicles increases, well, then obviously there's going to be more demand for charging stations, and I think that demand is going to be met by those charging companies that have the right infrastructure in place, the ability to grow, and provide charging stations throughout the globe. And I think ChargePoint is going to be that company. Now, I think the other companies will play in the space as well. But look at the lead, look at the advantage that ChargePoint has, 73%. And the next closest is only 10%. Oh my gosh, ChargePoint has it far and away. All the tools, infrastructure, and wherewithal to continue to be number one. And so just to give you an idea, in another video I talked about the growth of electric vehicles just in general in the industry, right? So right now, 2020, industry analysts are stating there's about 3 million electric vehicles being sold every year. Guess what happens in 5 years? Well, that number is going to 5x, right? So it's going to be 5 times larger in 5 years, in just 2025. And then you go 10 years out to 2030. Oh my gosh, now we're talking almost 10 times the number of electrical vehicle cars that you see on the road today. So if there's going to be that many cars and the growth is going to be that explosive, for me it only follows that the number of electric charging stations will grow as well. So I don't think the charging stations will grow as quickly or as fast. I don't think the development and building and implementation of the charging stations will happen quite as fast as the electric vehicles, right? There's always going to be a lag. There has to be the number of cars increasing so much that there's this pent-up demand, right? So as the number of cars increases, the lines for the charging stations will start to get longer, and that will be a trigger for the charging companies to recognize, hey, you know what, we better put more charging stations. We could be collecting more revenue, servicing the customer better by making the line shorter and putting them in more places. And so there's that lag between the demand that the public has because they have these cars and the need for charging stations and the actual charging stations getting built. But be that as it may, you can see the explosive growth of electric cars, and as these vehicles become more and more universal, I think the need and demand for charging stations will follow suit. So now let's get to the good stuff. My price prediction for 2020, as ChargePoint and Switchback join forces and trade under the symbol SBE, you can bet that's going to start growing. In fact, we've seen it within the last week or so. SBE has been growing by leaps and bounds just in the past week and the past month. In my earlier video, just 1 week ago, I had predicted and mentioned that SBE was trading at around $20 per share. As of today, November 24th, 4 days later, SBE is trading at just over $36 per share. And so now my price prediction for SBE for the end of 2020, December 2020, I show a target range of between $42 and $43 per share. So I see this coming up within the next 5 to 6 weeks. Watch for a Switchback, stock symbol SBE, jumping to $42 to $43 per share. And this is going to be largely because the merger between Switchback and ChargePoint will be finalized, and the marketplace is going to start recognizing what a huge opportunity this is. And so we'll see an immediate jump after the merger is completed, and that's why I think by the end of 2020 the stock price will be between $42 and $43 per share. That's my prediction. What are your thoughts? Where do you think stock symbol SBE will be at the end of 2020? Or do you think that the merger between Switchback and ChargePoint won't make a difference at all? Let me know your thoughts by entering a comment below. Tell me what you think the price will be, or tell me if you think I'm all washed up. Tell me that the stock price won't change after the merger is completed. If you're interested in learning more about stock option trading basics, Then be sure to check out my video, Option Trading Basics. I've included a link in the description below. Also, if you're interested in opening a trading account and receiving 2 free stocks, then consider opening a Webull account and using my referral link that is in the description. If you use my link, open an account and deposit just $100, you'll receive 2 free stocks worth between $8 and $1,000 each. So did you like this video and you want to see more like it? Well then smash the like button. It lets me know that you enjoyed the video and it motivates me to create more. And if you really want to know more about trading stock options, be sure to use the subscribe button so that you get access to all of my videos. Also, click on the bell icon so that you'll get notified every time I release a new video. I've been using a simple method to trade stock options and generate over $2,000 a month, and now you can see exactly how I do it. Make a plan, take action on that plan, and start living your dream.